Jim, I think I've got it. All we have to do is stop feeding them. Once we stop feeding them, they stop breeding.
What's going on, everybody? Welcome into another Teaching Trek video. My name is UltimatDJz from the Talking Trek podcast, and we are here today for April Fools, in which we kind of thought that maybe Scopely was trying an April Fool's joke today at Event Reset, but it actually turned out to be an all-true, an all-too-familiar kind of event launch nightmare. Welcome in. Before we get started, I would like for you to subscribe to this channel. Hit that bell notifier so you know when we do content in the future. Like the video, leave your comments in the section below, and we appreciate you very, very much. I would like to welcome my special guest today, Gregor. Gregor, welcome into the show. Happy April Fool's Day to you. What's up, my man?
Let's go.
Yes, let's go. All right, so I was teasing Gregor earlier. I said, you know what? I put a down payment on a helicopter today. He was like, really? I'm like, ha! April Fools. And then he laughed at me because, I mean, that's really not funny. That's just me being sad and lonely and wishing.
I hear there's a used one in California you can rebuild.
Oh, yeah. I kind of wish I could have one. All right, guys, let's take a look at what we got going on. First of all, let's just start at the very beginning. Event Reset rolled around, and we were excited because we saw the Tribbles. We saw the Tribbles, and we actually thought for a second, Gregor, man, what a great event that this was last April Fool's. There was a couple of minor tweaks, one or two things that we wanted to change last year. I don't know if you remember very well. I actually went back and watched the video and listened to the podcast so I could kind of remember what was going on. But there was one or two things. It was based around the RNG, and there was one or two things that we thought we could change to make it a little bit more fair, because if you remember, everything about last year's event hinged around the very first RNG. All right, remember, you were feeding Tribbles. You had small crates of food and medium crates of food and large crates of food. And if you didn't get a lucky roll on that very first roll, then you were out of the event, because those few players who got a lucky roll on the very first roll, then they could immediately do their medium-sized roll. You remember that, Gregor? It's been a long time. A whole year.
I do, but it was a marathon, man. I mean, it really paid off to the people that were logging in all 24 hours. Absolutely.
As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that the smallest chest for feeding your Tribbles was what, like 20 minutes or 15 minutes? And some people did it all night long. They did indeed. So we thought that there was one or two things we could have modified about that event. But overall, it was very well received. It was super popular. There was absolutely no skill involved in it whatsoever. It was just a grind. It was just luck. It was some RNG, and that was it, right? And a lot of people really, really loved it. Well, this year, enter in the new Tribble event, and we kind of got excited. We see this little indicator down here, Gregor. I don't know if you see that, but that looks like a Jayla Tribble. Pretty excited about that. Still don't know what that means yet, but we see these other Tribbles, and we take a look at the leaderboard, and this leaderboard is nice and deep for a lot of servers. Interesting here, we've got event store loot, so the event store not quite done. You still got 3 days left on your event store to go in and spend, so nice to get a little extra bonus loot here, but also shards for the ever-coveted 10 of 10 Tribble mining officer. A lot of people still don't have this officer. A lot of people working on maybe trying to get it to tier 2 or maybe tier 3, but 30 spots in my leaderboard, and this leaderboard appears to be, Gregor, very, very deep, okay? We take a look at a couple of profiles. There's a 35 in first place with 13 million points. We come down. Now, we know that there's at least some break point here, because I am on server 15. But if we come over here and take a look at Big Country's leaderboard, all right, this is also server 15, and we can see a little bit of difference, all right? Shout out Jonathan Ingram, who's at first place in his leaderboard here on server 15 with only 12.7 million points. But if you come back at the smaller leaderboard, 13 million points, Gregor. And if we take a look at this real quick, Gregor, 18 million points in first place. How is it mathematically possible? All right, let's talk about the possibilities with the event first, the mathematical outcomes, and then we're going to talk about what part of this event actually kind of messed it up for me a little bit, okay? Because there was something that was done great last time and not so great this time. So first, let's take a very, very quick look at what is happening mathematically here, okay? So we come back into the game. Let's take a look at these chests, okay? So if you go into your gift chest, and of course, you know, everybody knows what happened today at Event Reset, Gregor. The game pooped. It pooped itself, okay? I don't know. Were you on an Event Reset?
I wasn't, but I heard there was a lot of free stuff.
There was definitely. You know what? If by free you mean there was a lot of time spent out of the game, and there were times at which up to 75 minutes later you finally got the points for killing a hostile somewhere in the game, then sure, everything was free. All right? But we've got our events here. Let's take a look at the gift chest. Now, over here, this is how you're getting it. There's two choices, everybody. All right? And actually, here, before we get into that, let's take a quick look at the News Center, because the News Center actually gives a little bit of insight here, okay? Here we go. Lag issues. Here are the Tribbles event. To clarify, by the way, you will get another 100 crates of grain tomorrow, or today, I guess, when you're watching the video. All right? You're going to get another 100 crates. Now, how are you supposed to use them? All right? There's been a lot of argument in the community, Gregor. We are here to mathematically break it down, because everybody swears that they're right. Do you feed your Tribbles, or do you grow more grain? All right? Feeding the Tribbles gives you a chance to earn high volumes of Tribbles, but that's it. Once you spend your crates of grain, you're done. There's also some other stuff in there like avatars and frames. However, if you grow more grain, then you actually have the opportunity to earn more grain chests, but the number of Tribbles is much, much smaller. So, do you go with the safer bet, the larger number, and feed the Tribbles, or do you take a chance and potentially earn a large number of Tribbles over a large or a long period of time because you consistently gain more of those chests, all right? Now, just as a quick aside, there are cooldowns added to the bundles now, which do not affect the outcome of the event in any way, shape, or form, so you don't have to worry about that. It was actually a smart idea to help mitigate the lag since the game literally crashed. I mean, like, Tribbles got into everything. Gregor, Tribbles in the warp drive, Tribbles at the con, Tribbles in the captain's chair, Tribbles in med bay, and literally everything, sick bay, med bay, whatever. Everything just shut down. Gregor, it was all done. Black screens everywhere, all right? But they added the cooldown. That actually helped. So, tomorrow, we're going to see the same thing. We're also going to see a slow rollout of your free grain crate tomorrow, so if you don't see it right at Event Reset, don't panic, it'll be along soon. And we also see here that they are, in fact, going to give us a compensation chest, Gregor, which is nice, right? Is it
going to be full of Tribbles?
We certainly hope that it is not full of Tribbles. My bet is that we're going to see a gift chest, probably with event store loot, since we do see event store loot as a reward in this particular event. So there's your news, all right? Now, if we go in, we do have these two chests. Feed the Tribbles or grow more grain. Now, what's interesting here is that we do see large numbers of Tribbles. We also see all these frames and avatars and so forth, and that's all fine, good, and dandy. But let's take a look at the drop rates here. A guaranteed minimum of 6,000 Tribbles, all right? But that's if you have pretty rotten luck. Guys, here's how this is working. One crate of grain, Gregor, is actually giving you 12 rolls. All right? So one crate of grain is going to roll 12 times with these 7 choices: 5, 7, 50,000, 2,000, 5, 10, and 25. All right? There's 7 chests there. So 12 times an RNG is going to roll 1 through 7. All right, and here's your percentage breakdown. So you can actually see that most likely, and obviously not, by any stretch of predictability, are you going to roll the same chest 12 times, but we see here that we're probably going to see a combination of these 3 chests in most of these rolls, right? Between these 3 rolls here, you got almost 70% of the chance of this entire chest. So what would you expect to see if you, say, did a 10 chest pull? Well, that's 120 rolls of this chest, and what most players are seeing, Gregor, seems to be an average of roughly 225 to 250. Okay, some players obviously getting a little bit more. If we scroll back to that one screenshot of the this one right here, if we take a look at that screenshot, a shoe is getting way more than $225,000 per roll. As a matter of fact, if you math that out, let's assume, Gregor, that he spent $170 on the event today, which is likely given his score. All right, you got 300 crates in the $100 pack, 120 crates in the $50 pack, and 50 crates in the $20 pack. Okay, 470 crates. Did I do my math right? 300. So that's 30 plus 12 is 42 plus 5 is 47 plus your 10 free that you got today. So that's 57. You take the 18 million divided by 57, okay? 18 million divided by 57 crates. He's actually averaging 316,000 tribbles per 10 chest crate. Okay, so he's got some luck on his side. The RNG is kind to a shoe, but there is potentially another way to do this, right, Gregor? We can use the slower, more calculated, more risky option of growing the grain, because we see here the drop rate. If we do this, we've got a chance. Okay, we have a chance. By the way, we have a chance at no crates at all. We also have a chance at no tribbles. Look here, Gregor. 11% chance at a single tribble. Like, is that scary?
I got that.
Is that scary?
I got that.
Did you really? 11% chance. And by the way, guys, all right, this does not indicate to us, all right, that we are getting the 12 rolls. Now, I think that that's probably likely. I don't know. Gregor, when you did this chest, did you actually just get a single tribble? Oh, man, that would make me mad.
I did. It was a single chest, but I got a single tribble.
Okay, so you guys look here. Not 12 chances, not 12 rolls per chest, but one single roll. These numbers look incredibly low. I mean, mathematically, you would think, Gregor, that if I've got 12 rolls per crate in the first chest and one roll per crate in this chest, oh, I'm done, right? I'm done. Except the number of tribbles are actually higher. 8,400, 12,000, 18,000, plus the chance up here to actually get additional crates. If we go back over here, we just saw the 8, 12, and 16,000, but we see much smaller chances here. But again, still, I have to think, Gregor, 12 times seems like this would automatically be the best way to go, right? You would think. Unless
you're big and you get 60,000 on your...
That's true. Big Country is very upset. He didn't even want to come on the video tonight because he was like, my average pull is terrible. My average pull is not getting anywhere close to that. All right? But there is a group of players out there that are trying this out. So at this point, let me switch the screen over, and I would like to shout out the provider of this research today. This was actually kind of crazy. Wave of Mutilation. Thank you very much for your data. Let's pull up this chart. All right, I'm going to pull up this chart here real quick, Gregor, and that way you can see. Guys, take a look here. Thank you, Wave of Mutilation. This is a very interesting simulation. All right, and we're known for being nerds on this show. Wave of Mutilation took it like 2 steps farther than the extreme and ran a simulation test today of, what did he say? Thousands? I don't remember if it was thousands or tens of thousands, maybe 10,000. He ran a simulation, Gregor. All right, and then he plotted his results. So first, let's take a quick peek, all right? The blue line is the grow chest. The red line is the feed chest, all right? Down here at the bottom are your number of tribbles when you completely exhaust your supply of grain. And then over here were the number of tests that resulted in this same figure. So, I mean, really, you look at this, 10,000 tests is probably not impossible here, Gregor, because this exact number right here got almost 120 exact duplicate outcomes, leading us to believe that this is the true average right here. Now, he didn't give us the actual data point, so if we drag it down, we're going to assume that that's probably here, somewhere around the 230 to 240,000 mark, Gregor. I don't know if you can see the chart super well, but that would be my guess. Right here's 400,000. Here's 200,000, so 300 would be probably about right here. So I don't know, maybe 250, 260 possibly?
Yeah, I'd go with that. Yeah.
All right. So 250, say 260,000 is the average on this number of tests. Over 116 tests came out with this exact number. All right. On the other hand, looks here, about 16 tests came with less than 2 million. Okay. On the other hand, looks like here we've got 7 or 8 tests that were nearing the 4 million mark. But right through here, you see it's pretty much over, okay? One test here, one test here. These are definitely the outliers. The vast majority of players are going to land right here between this 250 and 300,000, or 2.5 million rather, and 3 million. And I should have said that this was based on the number of tests, and this is the final number of Tribbles. So I should have probably spoken a little bit more clear when I said that the average here at 250, that's actually 2.5, 2.6 million, but this was done, because with the red chest, it was done with 10 chests. That's it. All right, he didn't do a mix. He only got 10, well, he got 100, so he did 10 pulls, all right, and was averaging probably the final figure of about 2.6 million Tribbles, or 260,000 per pull. But that was it, okay? Now, here's what's interesting, Gregor, and here's where I'd like a little bit of your analysis. The blue line is the grow option, which means it had far less reliability. I think what we're seeing here is exactly what Scopely said. The red, the feeding your Tribbles, far more predictable, okay? Far more stable, able to be somewhat closely estimated. Growing the Tribbles had such a much larger variance, but we see here that it does potentially have the ability to pay off in the long run. Okay, so what we're seeing here is, for example, right here with this data point, that's probably 36 or 38 tests, right? 38 tests that got you more than the number of tests for feed, okay? But how many data points are all through here? I have to imagine how many data points before the red line and how many data points after the red line. It still, to me, seems like it would probably be a 60 to 70% chance that you're still better off with feeding them. Gregor, how many data points do you think from this point forward on the map there are compared to this point previous? I have to feel like that's a pretty large number. It's not 50-50.
No, I'd say it's like 25% chance you're going to beat the average of feeders.
25 feels good. I was thinking 30 to 35, but 25 is probably a more realistic number because these higher frequency tests are not going to outperform feeding the Tribbles. But for a lucky 25% of you, you can outperform the norm. Okay? This is the math. And of course, it's all RNG. So it still relies, just like last year, on a little bit of luck. Except, Gregor, I'm now going to identify the two things about this event that I did not like. In Scopely, last year I liked it because it was fun, it was quirky, it was random, it was RNG, but, Gregor, we did not last year have the opportunity to click up here on this little pay store. We did not have the opportunity to come in and spend $100. Now, folks, here's what's going to happen. And, Gregor, I'm sure that we've already talked about this, okay? I get 100 crates of grain for free per day. I'm going to end up with 200 crates of grain, okay? And that's great. Okay, that's absolutely wonderful. If that's where it stopped, then this chart right here of the actual mathematical averages means that nobody can buy an advantage over me. It's just luck. I've got a 25% chance that I could do it with grow. I've got a 75% chance with feed, but it doesn't matter. Because the leaderboard is what matters. That's what's paying us, and it still is an RNG, and that's fun, and it's mysterious, and it's like playing a slot machine, right, Gregor?
Mm-hmm.
Except the person who comes in with 10 quarters and sits down to play next to you, well, they're different than the person who comes in with 10,000 quarters, right? And this, Scopely, I feel, is where we lost. I said I wasn't going to use the spirit of the event anymore, Gregor, but here I am. All right. Last year's April Fool's Day event was fun, quirky, and simple, and unable to be bought yet. Here we are with chest. And by the way, 18 million points, 17 million points, 16 million points. These numbers are not possible without the extra crates coming from these chests. So when you look at your leaderboard and there's 12, 13, 14, 15 million points, it's absolutely because players have purchased this chest. And that's okay. That's great. As a matter of fact, there is an argument to be made for the value that you can get with this event, but it eliminates the free-to-play opportunity. It eliminates free-to-play from being able to participate or place in any way, shape, or form in the leaderboard event, which I just skipped over. Gregor, you and I were talking before we decided to record this episode, and we said that, it's monetized. It's another example of monetization. I mean, if we go down to 30 spots here, okay, 30 spots is 4.7 million points. Now, arguably, that's possible free. That's possible, but probably not likely. We just saw in this chart. Let's go back. Let's take a real quick look at the chart again. That the average player, even at the break-even point, I mean, this player we just saw 30th place, had 4.6 million points. Folks, that is probably right about here. Okay? So chances are he could have been doing the grow option. That's certainly possible. But more likely, he probably had some extra chest pulls, right? He had some extra crates of food. And that is coming from these actual pay packs here. Now, Gregor, I did some math, and I'm going to tell you why I didn't think that the value was quite so terrible on the Tribbles. All right? Because we did the math. Listen, there is a 100, a 50, and a $20 pack. They're all limit 1. All right, so there's $170 that you can spend on the event. By the way, you do get some direct Tribble shards. There's 15. You also can come over here to the $50 pack. You get another 5. There's 20, and none in the $20 pack. Okay, but these are all still limit 1. So you got 20 over here. Come back to the leaderboard. Let's assume, and this is a strong assumption, but let's assume that maybe you get 10th place. Maybe you get 10th place. If you spend a full $170, you should at least get 10th place. Gregor, is that a fair assumption?
It depends on the competition, but possibly.
Yeah, well, that's true. It does depend on the server. It depends on your bracket. Let's assume 10th place. You got 20 from the packs. You got 52 here. That's 72 shards for $170. Okay. However, Gregor, a year ago, this officer came out and was $400 for 115 shards. So we see 72 shards today for $170. We saw 115 shards for $400. Yes, the cost per shard's not wildly different. A little bit better, but like Gregor says, assuming the competition. Now, obviously, if you can finish in first, second, or third, then RNGesus has been very good to you, and you can definitely increase your payout. But there's one other problem with that, Gregor, right? And we were talking about it before the video. What does 115 shards do for you, good sir?
Puts me 300 shards away from tearing him.
Wait, you mean to tell me that you could spend $170 today and even win first place in this event, and it does nothing for you today?
It does nothing today. It just accumulates towards an eventual leveling.
All right, and there's an argument for that. Hey, eventually you're going to need those shards. This does fast track you to get to those shards, but what does happen to the Tribble as we mine him up? As we level him up, rather. All right?
His efficacy and his cost diverge.
So are you suggesting perhaps that the Tribble is actually more effective, more valuable, per se, at the lower levels? As in, the more you tier him up, the more expensive his ability becomes for lesser return. Is that what we're talking about?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I got mine at tier 3. It's 120%. Gregor, yours is tier 4. What's yours?
140%.
140%. So you've got to collect 500 shards. And you, by the way, have an opportunity to get 70 of them today for $170, but you'll get an extra 20% on your mining speed. Folks, there is a break-even point here, I think, in all value. And we'll get ready to wrap up with this. Gregor, we were talking about it before the show. This is why I haven't bought crates of food. This is why I won't be buying Tribbles today, because Scopely took an event that was fun last time. And listen, there's still, I guess, maybe a small element of fun to it this time, but you've got this element here, which literally does eliminate 100% of your free-to-play. Your free-to-play will gain nothing from this event. Happy April Fools to you, okay? I'm not even going down that road. I was getting ready to say something, and I probably shouldn't, Gregor. Happy April Fools to the free-to-play. The joke for you today was that you thought you were going to be able to play in the Tribble event. April Fools! Okay.
Well, and technically, you could still get super, super lucky and place in a decent position. And I would say if you have not unlocked him, this event is more valuable as an unlock event than as a progression event.
Yeah, so those of you who already have Tier 2 and Tier 3 Tribbles, how about you do us a favor and sit this one out? Okay? Sit this one out. Let the players who don't have him yet go ahead and unlock this Tribble. Community, what do you think here? Okay? We've broken it down for you mathematically. Sorry for the slightly longer video, but you got the analytics, you've got the chances, you've got the math, and while it is true, Gregor, you can't truly math out an RNG event, but I think the simulator definitely shows that there is a preferred pattern, and we have also perfectly established that unless you are on a server that just does not believe in spending, then the free-to-play have been eliminated, basically, from this April Fools again. Happy April Fools, Star Trek Fleet Commanders. This is your April Fools event, feeding the Tribbles yet again with an iteration on, again, an event that was received so well, and then we try to modify it, and we actually make it worse. I am not a fan. I give this Tribble event a failing grade. Gregor, I hate to be so negative about it, but golly, I don't give this a good grade. Not compared to last year. Community, what say you? Leave your comments in the video section below. Please hit that subscribe button. Click the little bell so you know about what content comes out in the future. Smash that thumbs up and let us know what you think. Gregor, final thoughts, 15 seconds. What do you got? And he's gone. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is UltimatDJz. I'm going to leave you right there with that. Happy April Fools, everybody. Catch you on the next one. Love you, mean it. We're going to see you. Bye.